Hi, I'm Joe, and this is my dad, John. We run Toolbox Lifestyle. We're a British classic bike brand, and we build, sell, and restore classic bikes. Today, we're going to look around 3 of our locations that we have spread around. This is our unit here, where we work when it's cold, and some more of our storage and special parts. So come and have a look. Before we go over here, let's have a look in this corner. This is our sales section and projects to be done. These are all on our website. 64 G80CS. This one is the 57. 56 is a project that we're going to do further down the line, which will go up for sale. Actually, I missed that in the corner, which I really love. And it's a 46. It's based on basically a World War II bike, but we got it in. It came back from America and in this colour, and we've just left it as a. We've done all the major bits: tyres, chains, cables, running, and it's a cool little bike. This is a wartime 16H project, running, riding. Hopefully, this one will be going to Poland at the weekend. Yeah, a lot of military bikes. Generally, that's our bread and butter. The 58 Sprint Bike. This you would have seen before on the channel. We did a feature of it last year. We built it. It's a long-term project, but we actually had it for a bike shed as a poster bike in 23. Built as a Brooklands Inspired racer, 1000cc V-twin. Yeah, it's very, very cool, and we really want to get that out.
Except, Joe, it's 38, not 58.
Oh. Did I say 50?
So you said 58. It's 90. It's pre-war. It's 38,000cc V-twin.
And then next there is my Manx Norton racer. It's a 62 replica built specifically for Lansdowne British Championship racing, but it's brand new and never been ridden. And then the Triton over there, which I did my race licence at Castle Coomon and blew the engine, and that's as far as it's got. The engine's in the corner somewhere, ready to go back in at some point. This is a Rickman Matisse project. Yeah, I'm currently doing it at the moment. I've had it for a long time, and yeah, it's going to have a matchless engine in. With the Rickmans, you can put whatever engine you like in it. Really, people put all sorts in them, from classic, even like Suzuki 650s and stuff like that. So
nickel-plated frame.
Nickel-plated frame. This one's been sitting around for a while, but my plan is to build it as a trail, do everything beta bike for this season, really. Go to some shows. I might take it to Dispatch Rally, maybe Mallet Beach, something like that. Yeah, this is my Bonnie. This is my only modern, but I wouldn't really call it a modern because it's on my classic policy. 05 T100 Bonnie, which I'm just having the panels painted, really. A friend of mine actually built it for me, Motor Edit up in Cambridge. They did a lot of the work on it, all of the work on it pretty much. Yeah, so this is my sort of modern, it will start when I want it to start bike, and it will do the distance. This is our storage unit, essentially. This is with all our stock and our personal stuff, and we've recently, over the last year, been trying to organise all our stuff, all our different places that we've got different stuff, and basically consolidate into one place. Yeah. Tanks up there, like we have a lot of petrol tanks. They basically go from wartime stuff down to the competition slimline tanks. Obviously, you can see some of the painted ones over there. My Triumph, that's my TT tank for my Triumph here. And then up this one is like the pre-war and the panel tanks, similar to what you've got on the Model X here. Yeah, so they're fairly rare. Wheels, all the engines and bits and pieces down this end. As I said, we do a lot of military stuff, and generally our bread and butter is AJS matchless. And this is my personal G3L. This is my very special
matchless G3L.
Matchless G3L, yeah, sorry, matchless G3L. Actually, my dad built it for me when I was like 21, when I first started road riding, and it's one of my never sell bikes. I have two that I wouldn't part with for love nor money, and this is just special to me. And actually, it just rides so well, and I love it. You do 40, 45, you feel like you're doing 70. It's definitely one of my, like, I love it, especially when the sun's out, to the pub. Me and Dad go out in the summer. Yeah, and take this. Should we move on? He's the military man.
So you've seen Joe's wartime matchless there. His is 1943, I think. This is the other end of the war. This is very early. This is a 1939 matchless. Yeah. And this went to war right at the beginning of the war. Went to France, and I know that because I bought it back from France. It's obviously very rare.
Dunkirk bike.
It's a Dunkirk bike, and it's called a panel tank model because it's a very early wartime one, and the switches and the ammeter are all in the panel tank. So as it came, I bought it from a Frenchman who bought it from a dealer in Dunkirk. And as you can see on the back of the toolbox there's a rhino with a white circle. That's the original wartime marking, and it's the marking of the 1st Armoured Division. So during the war, motorcycles, tanks, every vehicle had a marking so that you knew who it had been issued to, and this is the 1st Armoured Division. Over here, we've got a James ML, which is also a wartime bike. This was found in a farm, in a barn, just south of Caen in Normandy. And it could have come, there were a lot of them used at the beginning of the war. This could have come down in a glider. On here, this is the original side panel for the engine. And the yellow line on it was for helping you to load them onto the glider.
Location.
So, the location of the glider.
It's got all the original markings. You want to show them the tank?
So this has the original markings from the war, which are Royal Artillery. So we know that it was used by the Royal Artillery. It's really rare to find a bike during the war that has its original markings.
This is the original tank, and I'm sure someone with some skill may be able to repair this. But yeah, it's got all the original markings, and it's pretty cool bit of history.
They're a rare bike, but people, when they restore them, they want to put, this is called the C number, which is the original registration number of the war, during the war. And I happen to find that here there is a dot after the C, which nobody had got on their bike. So all the anoraks decided that they had to go back out into the garage when I posted this photo and add a little dot to their C numbers on their bike. So just a tiny little detail. This one here is a 1946 matchless, 500cc. It's effectively the same as Joe's. When the war finished, they just went back to painting them black when they had been green all during the war. Yeah. But this is a bit of a cheat because I assembled it from
No, you didn't. This is exactly how it came. It was original looking. The patina is original. This is my T140 Matisse Street Tracker. I built this actually in lockdown, but this one's gonna go. It's gonna go. It's gonna go up for sale. Hopefully, there's a man that wants to buy it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The Model X Bobber. So this. We did this at the same time as we did the Brooklands Sprinter. It's essentially the same engine. This is the side valve engine, and that's the overhead valve, essentially the Brough Superior engine in that. And this was it's gone through changes over the years. It was a original Model X. Dad then found a picture of a wartime Model X, and you built
with a sidecar.
With a sidecar.
So
we built like a replica of that. And then when I started doing this, and they started doing the sprint bike, we thought, I'm gonna strip everything off, and this is like the sister version of it. It basically looks like a bit of a Harley bobber, but really cool. It just plods along, and it's just fun to ride.
Also, we've got another 3 here in got another 3 here in kit form to get around to building.
Model X's are really rare, you understand, but there's 3 under here that
they're a super rare bike, but there are 3 there in bits. Yeah.
So can we just tell people how this shed came about, because this is not all your business, is it, John?
No, this is a hobby gone mad, I guess, and I don't think a lot of businesses probably start that way, really.
Yeah.
Started buying stuff, you get offered stuff. If you're known for doing something, somebody says, "Oh, I've got one of those. Do you want it?" So over the years, I just sort of collected a lot of stuff, and it's eventually morphed into this business.
Yeah.
And I just tagged along. And then above are the rigid frames, so they basically go from the wartime G3, G3L, and then up to 59. So they're pretty rare and hard to come by. Some of them are for personal projects, some of them we might part with.
Yeah.
If people do contact on a regular basis, asking for, do we have a frame? And then that works down into the springers and the more competition stuff further down that line.
Explain Springer.
Rear suspension, sorry.
Yeah.
Springer, rear suspension. Different years, different everything, really. And as I said, like there's 59 Typhoon frame. That's pretty rare. Me and Dad both have a 59 Typhoon, and they only ever made AJS's. They only ever made 25 of them, so they're super rare. It's one actually coming up in auction in the US soon. And then down, this is my original pre-60 scrambler, so that's what I race. The burgundy polished one, that's what I race in British Championship scrambles, which I do.
You still race?
I do less of it now with kids and family, and I have to pick and choose what events and stuff I do, and I've sort of moved to playing around with my mates on my bikes and going and ragging around fields than racing too much. But I love it. I race pre-65 class and pre-60, but I prefer the pre-60 class. I really do. It's just more fun. And then again, this is very special. This is original matchless G85. This was basically the last of matchless scrambles bikes before that the CZs took over, and they were just lighter and more capable, and but it's super rare and it's very cool. That's my 67 matching numbers, because it's very important, Triumph TT, which is my next thing to build. The engine's been done and it's down here, and they're pretty rare.
Joe,
TTs.
just explain why matching numbers is important. Not everyone knows that it's very important.
I would say it's the same as with any mark of bike. It's important to the purists, I guess. I've started to move away from it, because I'm about how the bike rides and makes you feel, and you can put the same engine in the same frame, but it's all about the numbers it gives it the value, I guess. It came out the factory with that frame, with that engine.
And the numbers don't always match exactly, do they?
Came out Triumph, Norton's did, quite a lot of the marks and manufacturers did. AJS and Matchless actually didn't. They didn't come out with the matching numbers. But if you know a certain man, the one behind you, he could probably tell you if the gearbox and engine and frame came out together in that series. So if you're looking for the value in a bike, it's more valuable to some people to have it matching or basically as it was when it came out the factory. Moving on, Dad's P11, Norton P11, and then the blue one. Yes, I know. It's very different, and I think at some point he might paint it. It's a silver frame and blue panels and tanks. So a bit different.
P11.
Norton P11, yeah. And then BSA DBD 34. So one of the cafe racers, and this is some of the built engines ready for projects. This is actually a Typhoon engine. Yeah, that's the Typhoon engine. That's another 500 CS motor. My TT engine's in the back there, the Triton engine's there. and another special build that Dad's got planned in the works, which is a Shelsley Cadwell racer. Going along, yeah, engines, engines, barrels, heads. And then this is my little corner of all my personal bits and pieces that for projects and stuff I've got. 57 G80CS to build, my TT forks. This is, we took this to an auto jumble recently, so it's the start of a matchless G3, wartime matchless G3L, and actually we've had some interest that someone really would like to build one, and we'll hopefully sell them this, and then we'll supply engine and supply the rest of the bits. So they've got more of a working project.
People really like the look of. I could see the attraction in the patina on that.
Yeah, that's the way I like to build bikes and stuff now. That it's got that weathered, patinaed look. Finally, down here, this is actually Dad's very special. It's quite rare. So this is a matchless G80RR. They only made 50 Rs and about 50 RRs and about 7 Rs, and they were US market only flat trackers. So this has got a different wheel in at the moment, but it wouldn't have had a front brake. Competition 500 engine. Yeah, it's all right. It's only very, very rare. It's fine. So that's G80R. Pretty special. Only 7 made. Yeah. And the only difference really between them is the R had a lower oil tank and the RR had a high oil tank. But essentially the spec's pretty much the same. Mm. So from left to right, they basically, from the WD period matchless AJS tanks all the way through G80s, and then on the right-hand side are the alley competition tanks, and they vary from a gallon and a half, 2 gallon, and then some of the rarer twin down tube 3 gallon tanks. So yeah. So that first one there is a pre-war AJS tank, then a G3, and then the rest of them there are all panel tanks. So therefore either Model X's or matchless G3 panel tanks. And then going down to some of the alley race tank, and then there's the Triton tank up there when we finish that project.
Just going to head off to the next location now, but before we do, just want to show you this. So Honda loaned us this. This is the 2025 Africa Twin. It's got full luggage on there. Yeah, no, it's not a classic, but it's been great to have the camera equipment. I've been strapping it on there. And you might know that I've got another channel called Moto Filmer that I do off-road and adventure bike videos. So that one's going to go on there. So thanks, Honda. John, just show us your number plate there.
Well, we take a little bit too far sometimes, I think, because the number plate here is G3 XWD, as in ex-war department. And if you saw my car, you'd see G3 LWD.
Very serious.
Yeah, a serious business.
This is our second location. This is what we call the studio, because we planned to start a YouTube channel and do some filming and basically our what we do on a daily basis and our father-son banter. But now it's our warm space. It's where we can tinker around and sort out all your bikes.
And argue at will.
And yeah, of course, yeah. This is my little toolbox. These my brittle tools, and actually I was given these, which I covet. There was an old boy who lived next door to me when I had my first house, and he was an engineer, and he used to look over the fence at all my bikes and stuff. And then he one day gave me all his tools before he passed away. So yeah, I love them. And then just the usual drawers of screwdrivers.
Very well laid out.
Oh, I try. It allows me to find what I want. Metric AF, modern stuff. We don't really want about that. This is my Whitworth drawer, but these are the new King Dick ones. Ratchet spanners, ring spanners.
John's going to show us.
Yeah, my old spanners. This is my Whitworth old drawer, and I use them for, when you get in a tight space, and I'm sure you'll find a few cut and made and bent because you need to get in a certain place. BAs, files, punches. Tyre levers, Allen keys. What's in here?
Wire brush drawer.
Wire brush drawer, hammers, cutters, engineering. These are taps and dies, and yeah, all the more engineering bits and pieces. Tape, and then just odds and sods, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad's tools are all the old school ones.
Yeah, like me, my tools are all old. Joe has much better tools than I do, but I just like to be able to have access to them and turn around and can find a spanner really quickly rather than have to search through. These, as Joe mentioned, these are a godsend. These are made by King Dick, and they're ratchet spanners. So if you're taking a bike apart...
And they're cool because people know what ratchet spanners are, but
well,
they're Whitworth.
They're Whitworth ratchet spanners. And as far as I'm aware, King Dick are the only people that make these. Just if you're dismantling something, it just makes it so much quicker to have a ratchet spanner. So we use these an awful lot and covet them a lot.
Just to explain, just quickly for people who don't know what Whitworth are.
Whitworth were the original British sizes before metric came along. All modern bikes now are metric, but before, up until the mid 60s, etc. And most of the wartime and early bikes that we work on all have Whitworth nuts and bolts. So what else here? As you'll see, I really quite like old spanners. So I tend to collect old spanners and use them because they're really, really good quality. Not sure what I have in here. Adjustables, etc. There's my plier drawer. And then I have a drawer here with metric and AF because we had a bike in recently that we were working on for somebody and it had Whitworth, metric and AF completely mixed up. So we ended up using 3 sets of spanners just to work on one bike. And this is my Whitworth drawer, so we have something for everything really. And of course not forgetting the Whitworth adjustable spanner rather than the metric. Screwdrivers, etc. And we come down here to sort of special tools, pullers, tools for taking valves out, you name it, anything that the special tools, mainly for Matchless and Norton, BSA, etc. here. I'm not sure what else is here, and some more special tools.
So this is a Norton International. We keep this in here in the dry and the warm because it's a special bike to us. This actually belonged to my grandfather, and we tracked it down after he passed away because we found some photos. Actually, Dad tracked it down, and he basically bought this 3 weeks after coming back from World War II, after being in a prisoner of war camp and a concentration camp. And basically the story goes is he got off the train, instead of going back to his parents' house, he went to the bike shop and they didn't have a bike for him. And then 3 weeks later he got this. So yeah, it's a pretty special bike to us. So yeah, it's got a nice backstory.
So actually the virus of classic bikes comes from him. He passed it on to me and then I passed it on to Joe. So it's Joe's grandfather who's responsible for all of this.
So this is the current bike I'm working on for a customer. This is a 72 oil in frame BSA A65. And basically we went to see this customer to sell him a bike, and he decided that this is what he really wanted. So we went about sourcing the bike for him, and actually came through a contact of Kev at Ace Classics, and we basically stripped it, and it's a full restoration, and we work with the client, with the customer, and this is what we've come with. We've tried to keep it as original as possible. Like, we've not painted the frame or any of the bits and pieces, but we've done the things that need doing. The engine's been done, brand new carb, electronic ignition, redone all the forks. But where we can, I've cleaned and polished and kept everything as original as we can do. Things will always need replacing, rubbers and bushes, and but it's really cool. And the the customer wants to use it for more long distance and touring, but on a classic bike. So that's why we've gone with, or that's why he wanted this particular model.
This is a wartime aerial WNG. Really quite rare. They, apart from the AJS and the Matchless and BSA, most wartime bikes got sold off very quickly after the war, and things like aerials and Nortons are now very rare to find. This is a bike that I bought more or less finished, but the person that owned it before had sort of just lost interest. So it's going to go out for sale fairly shortly. I'm just going through it from front to back to make sure that everything is sorted and it starts and it runs nicely, and then it'll be up for sale.
Interesting colour, this one.
Yes, it's not my favourite colour really. It's designed to be desert colour, but it's as we bought it, and I've not seen one quite like it before, but it would look good in a desert.
So this is our bench working space. Check out the handles. Like when we started doing it for filming, we decided to put a few nice little touches. All the copper hammers and hanging. Dad, do you want to talk about the sign? That's pretty cool.
Yes, that sign came off the wall at one of the London dealers called Hamracks, and they were fantastic to go to. They were when I first started building bikes, and when they closed down, they asked me if I wanted anything, and I said, "Well, can I have the dealer sign that's above the door?" And so I bought it from them.
This is a 41 Matchless G3L cutaway engine. What would they use them for, Dad? They use them for training purposes.
Yes, they were used. If you became a dispatch rider and you went into the army as a dispatch rider, they did a course for a number of weeks, and you had to learn everything. You needed to know how to take something apart and put it back together. So in fact, this came out of a bike that the entire bike was sectioned, and it would have been a training aid for lectures during the war. So
you just need to know suck, squeeze, bang, blow, don't you?
Well, yeah, but I guess if you've never seen, you need to know how they work if you're going to ride one every day as part of your job in the army. These are a couple of lighter tanks, as you can see. It says on the label. They were made by a man, I think, who was based in Dartford in Kent, and he made these special aluminium tanks for racing, for scrambles bikes, where weight was an important factor. And they're really nice to have and quite rare. You don't see very many of them with their original labels. On the wall here is a pair of girder forks from a wartime Matchless G3WO war bike. These are a bit different really because they're new old stock. So they're 85 plus years old, never been on a bike. Still has a bit of its original wrapping here. I like to have them. I don't know whether I'm ever going to get around to putting them on a bike, but it would be nice one day to build a bike from new old stock parts.
I don't know what's in it.
Really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, this. This was done by a good friend of ours, and we wanted to do something different with this bike, and he was like, "Oh, I'll do something for you." And he's done some stuff on his own tank that we've always really loved. So yeah, this is what he did. We gave him a brief, and he smashed it out of the park.
Any special covering to make sure it doesn't get worn off?
No, he's put some like 3D lacquer on and paint resistant lacquer, but it was all done by somebody else. So this is just a little storage garage, and we put stuff here before we need to work on it and store stuff for customers. So not a lot in here. That's ready for sale.
Paint scheme on that one?
This is an actual RAF contract aerial. So like the desert one you saw on the bench, we bought both of them, and this is already sold and it's going to Belfast. So we just wheeled this out just so you can see the other side of it and the amazing paintwork. We were just having a discussion about the centre stand. So it's a competition centre stand which has little welded blocks on the bottom so that you can work on the back wheel and stuff with it off the ground while scrambling and racing. This is the field stand for the aerial. Exactly as it says it on the tin, it's long with a big spike on it so it doesn't fall over in a field. Let's have a look. There you go. And you lean it over.
Fold it down toward the ground. Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah.
There you go. Spike straight in the grass. Supposedly you ain't going anywhere. Yeah. Storage number 4. Dad's garage. My granddad's safe. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Just a household.
Yeah, because just a, every house has got to have one, don't they? Yeah, well, this is, if you enjoy concussion, this is where to come, because Dad likes to hang stuff from the ceilings. But he says this is a garage, he knows exactly where everything is.
This is a World War II or early post-war tank suit. So they wore them in Sherman tanks in order to keep warm. And it's a bit really like a child's grow bag because it zips right the way through, right down to the bottom. This is really the
aerial. Yeah, that's Dad's personal aerial.
Mm-hmm. This is really the picking space if we want levers or side stands or the parts, basically the smaller parts.
Is this work stuff in here?
This is work. Yeah, no, this is all work stuff really.
Oh, no,
we've got a competition matchless 50s, 60s. Engines here in stock. So mudguard stays.
Yep.
So literally the things hanging up here are the bands to seal the primary chain case bands.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been working on this recently. So we're just trying to put stuff together so that we know where it is when we want it. So in here is carburetors, mainly what they call pre-monoblock carburetors for wartime and early post-war. Competition magnetos. Moving further down, we've got late competition pistons, brand new pistons, high compression ones, lower compression ones, and a whole box full of wartime, new old stock pistons.
I'm hitting my head as we're walking along.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
I told you.
So much.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of stuff in here just hanging up and ready. At least we know where it is, or at least I know where it is. I don't think Joe knows where it is.
No, I don't.
But
exhausts.
yeah, just be careful you don't trip
Port
over.
parts. It's generally, this is all parts, like bits we'll need while building projects than the big, all the tanks, frames, wheels, everything as you've seen is in the unit. So these are all the little tiny bits of.
And I suppose if you're working in here, John, you know the hazards, you know where the low-lying things are, so
Yeah.
you can sort of work your way around accordingly.
Yeah, I just more now we're working down the road mainly rather than here, so I'm being sent down here occasionally to find bits that we need, but at least I know where most of the stuff is.
Yeah, the Union Jack competition matchless tank, and every competition bike I build, I put it on there, and it's the first thing that's everyone comes back. Will you sell me the tank? Will you sell me the tank? So one day we'll build something for ourselves and keep. Oh, I don't even know where it came from. That's like someone's cut an oil tank in half, clearly for some custom desert racing matchless. This one's clearly had a whack. Hopefully the owner of the bike was all right, but.
And your teapot?
Oh, the teapot. Oh, yeah. The save time teapot with 2 spouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a customer, a young lad, who wants to build himself a G3 wartime matchless. So this is sort of my picking box. I've been going around the garage going, well, I'll have one of those. He wants a project rather than a complete bike. So I've been going around and saying, well, I need one of these and one of those, and collecting it all together for him.
This is the James ML headlights. This is it a new old stock one, Dad? Yeah, new old stock one, which are pretty hard to find. So the 2 engines here that we just put together, and they've got bronze heads on them, which are super rare. And that's a 500 and a 350. This is Dad's new old stock. See all those old boxes?
Yeah.
That I don't even know what's in some of these. Valve springs, new old stock valve springs.
Let's have a look at the box. Show me that. In the light.
AJS, look at that.
Very nice.
Yeah. You know, some W's that comes in the grease wrappers.
Gearbox cog.
Yeah. Brake linings.
Let's have a look at the boxes. People love that.
Yeah, look at brake linings.
Here, these are all stanchions for wartime motorbikes and early matchless ones.
Yep.
Just a huge amount of them, I'm afraid. Girder fork parts, again probably matchless. Very special BSA M20 petrol tank that's been highly modified at some point.
Norton Big 4 rear mudguard section.
Yeah, that's a brand new old stock rear mudguard. Yeah, that's all kickstarters and folding kickstarters. Some of these things I've been collecting for years as a really rare set of handlebar levers. And if you're doing a restoration, you want to know that you can find the parts that you want. So on here, these are wartime, early war matchless combination levers, folding levers.
Doing an unboxing here.
An unboxing.
And how long?
How
old is
this?
this?
For the last 8
These are wartime. Look at that. That was wrapped 80 years ago, probably.
You gonna unbox them now?
Oh, if you want to have a look, yeah. Look at this. World War II forks, brand new. Never been out of their box. That's a good match for the paint colour.
It is actually, isn't it?
Never seen the light of day since the day it was packed.
What's that?
This here, where?
No, that bag.
This is just a very original, very old leather bag. I think there's something in it. You know what? I have no idea what's in it.
Tools?
Probably tools.
You could have come up with a better story than that.
I could have come up with a better story. Here we've got a new old stock Norton Big 4 and Norton 16H rear mudguard.
Yeah.
With its original Norton decal on it. Well, this is just a random box of old bearings that we bought from a friend recently. Mainly big end bearings. Just good to have original boxes. You know what? I don't even know what's in there. Oh, that's a Timken bearing, so that's obviously a very old, probably wartime bearing. Just a box full of, old bearings and new old stock ones. He's on the floor, Joe.
Yeah. Have a little look. And this one. Every garage needs Bren gun.
Wartime Bren gun. 1942. I can't really hold my mic and hold it at the same time.
They were paid more to carry these because they were just so heavy. Yeah.
What's it weigh?
About 25 pounds, I think. So this is an original World War II Bren gun. They were standard issue right the way through the war and even post-war. You can see, if you look, Joe moves it forwards, I think you'll see here the original date on it, probably. There we are, 1942.
Yeah.
And the Bren gun teams, there were 3 of them. There was one to carry the gun, another one to carry the boxes of ammunition, and it also came with a stand, a tripod stand, which is just down there.
Anti-aircraft stand, which is probably a lot easier to hold on.
And these guys who were in their late teens and 20s literally ran from one field to another all day with those things. And they're heavy enough just to try and hold for a minute or two. The Bren gun was a standard issue light machine gun during the Second World War, but on D-Day, one man called Stanley Hollis won the VC. He was the only man to win the Victoria Cross on D-Day. And part of the action, he used a Bren gun, and his men were caught by Germans who were firing at them, and he came in, crawled through a rhubarb patch, and then sprayed the hedge with machine gun fire in order that they could escape. and he got them all out safely, and for that he won the VC. So on the Normandy invasion on the 6th of June 1944, every single Allied vehicle had to have a patch of paint this colour, and it's actually anti-gas paint, and it had to be somewhere where you could see it. So if you were on a Jeep, driving a Jeep, for example, it would be on the bonnet so that you could see it, because it's gas detector paint. And that means that if the Germans had dropped poisonous gas in order to kill people, the paint was designed that it would change colour. So if you didn't notice the paint changing colour, then very quickly thereafter you'd change colour as well. So this is an original tin of gas, anti-gas or gas detector paint. Very, very rare. So this belt here, you can see has lots and lots of cap badges from berets that soldiers used to wear. And these were all collected on the beaches of Dunkirk by a soldier, because everybody threw their caps away, and then he put them on this belt.
Right, boys, we've come to the end. I just want to say thanks a lot for showing us around. There's been so much to look at, and you know, I've really enjoyed it, so I hope everyone else has. Any final words?
If anything interests you, you can contact us via our website or social media on Instagram page at toolboxlifestyle.com. And I hope you liked what you saw.